All right, here we are. This is it, the grand finale of the Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 18, man, it isn't just the last chapter. It's the ultimate summary. It's where Krishna takes all these incredible threads of wisdom and weaves them into one final, powerful tapestry. So let's dive right in and see how this amazing journey concludes.
So here's our quick roadmap for this final chapter. First, we're going to tackle the core question that gets this whole thing started. Then we'll look at action through 3 different lenses. After that, we'll get into finding perfection through our duty. And finally, we'll land on the ultimate path of surrender. Let's get to it.
Okay, Section 1, the core question. We're talking about renunciation versus abandonment. Everything that happens in this massive final chapter, it all starts right here. Arjuna, after everything he's heard, still needs just one more piece of clarity. And he asks this one final, absolutely critical question.
So he asks, I wish to know the truth of renunciation, sannyasa, and abandonment, tyaga, separately. Now, on the surface, that might sound like he's just splitting hairs, right? A little bit of semantics. But oh no, as we're about to see, getting this distinction right is the absolute key to unlocking the entire philosophy of enlightened action. And Krishna doesn't miss a beat. He breaks it down right away. He says, okay, sannyasa, or renunciation, that's about giving up actions that are all about personal desire, stuff you do just to get something for yourself. But tyaga, or abandonment, that's different. That's the real goal. It's about letting go of the fruits of all your actions, the outcome, the result. You give that up. It's a really subtle difference, but it is an absolutely game-changing shift in perspective.
But Krishna goes deeper. He's like, hold on. Not all abandonment is created equal. There are 3 kinds. First, there's the tamasic way. That's when you give up your duty just because you're confused or deluded. Then you've got the rajasic way. This is when you quit because something is just too hard or maybe painful. But the real goal, the one we're aiming for, is sattvic. This is when you perform your duty just because it has to be done without getting all wrapped up in the outcome. You just do the work.
And this right here, this verse really just nails the whole point. Krishna says, indeed, it is not possible for an embodied being to completely renounce all actions. But one who renounces the fruits of actions is called a true renunciant. So you see, the big takeaway isn't to just stop doing things. Not at all. The message is to engage with life, but, and this is the key, to let go of the anxiety, the ego, all the stuff that's tied to the results. That right there is where you find real freedom. All right, so let's move into our second part, action through 3 lenses, which are the gunas. This builds perfectly on what we were just talking about. Krishna basically zooms out and shows us that this idea of quality applies to everything. He brings back this core concept of the 3 gunas. Think of them as these fundamental forces that literally color every single thing we perceive, think, and do.
And this table, wow, it really lays it all out. Just look at how these 3 modes filter our entire experience. Take knowledge. Sattvic knowledge sees the unity in everything. Rajasic knowledge just sees separation, division. And tamasic knowledge? That's latching on to one tiny idea and thinking it's the whole truth. And it's the same for action, and even for happiness. Sattvic happiness is like poison at first, but nectar in the end. Think about discipline. It's hard, but the result is incredible. Rajasic is the reverse. Nectar at first, poison later. That's instant gratification you regret. And tamasic happiness? Well, it's just delusion from beginning to end.
So, when you boil it all down, the crucial point is this. Your inner state is what matters most. It's not just the action itself, but the consciousness behind the action that determines its quality and its consequences. The why you do something is way more important than the what. Okay, so this all leads to a really practical question, right? How do we actually apply this stuff in our everyday lives? And that brings us to our third section, perfection through duty, the path of svadharma. This is where Krishna brings all this high-level philosophy right down to earth.
And he brings up this key idea of swadharma. So what is that? Well, it's one's own duty, the work that's prescribed by your own unique nature. It's not just about a job title. It's about your calling, the path that is authentically yours, based on who you are deep down.
And man, this next verse is one of the most famous in the entire Gita. Krishna says, better is one's own duty, though imperfect, than the duty of another well performed. Just let that sink in. He's making this incredibly powerful call for authenticity. Stop looking over your shoulder. Following your own path, even if you're not perfect at it, is so much better than trying to flawlessly live someone else's life.
And here's the really beautiful part. Perfection is attained by worshiping the divine through the performance of your own natural work. You see what he's saying? Your work itself, whatever it is, becomes your spiritual practice. When you do it with that right consciousness, it becomes an offering. Your office, your workshop, your kitchen, it all becomes a sacred space. So for anyone wanting to go all the way to reach that state of oneness, Krishna gives a practical roadmap. First, purify the intellect. Then, take control of the mind with real determination. You have to renounce your attachment to sense objects. And this is a big one. Give up the ego, the need for power, the anger, the desire. When you do all that, you become peaceful. You become free from that constant nagging sense of mine.
And now we come to it, the final section, the ultimate path of surrender. After all the philosophy, all the arguments, all the cosmic visions, we have arrived at the very peak of the mountain. Krishna's tone is about to shift, and he's going to give his final, most confidential instruction.
Krishna is about to reveal the most confidential knowledge of all, and he does it by speaking directly to Arjuna, not just as a student, but as a dear, dear friend. This isn't just a generic teaching anymore. This is personal. This is intimate.
And here is that promise. He says, "Fix your mind on me, be devoted to me, worship me, and offer obeisance to me. You will certainly come to me. I promise you this, for you are very dear to me." It's just so direct. Pour your entire being, your entire consciousness towards the divine. And in return, there's a promise, a guarantee, because of that love.
And then he delivers what is arguably the most famous verse in the entire Bhagavad Gita, the final word. Abandon all varieties of duties and simply surrender unto me alone. I shall liberate you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Wow. After explaining every path, every duty, every system, he says, just let it all go. Simply surrender. Trust completely. He's saying, stop trying to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. Give it to me, and don't be afraid.
And in response to this ultimate promise, Arjuna is resolved. That raging internal battle that we saw way back in chapter 1, it's finally over. The clouds have parted,
And we hear the transformation in his own words. My delusion is destroyed. I have regained my memory by your grace. I am steadfast, free from doubt, and I shall act according to your word. You see, the confusion is gone, the despair is gone, he's firm, he's clear, and he's ready to act. The teaching has been a complete success.
And the entire scripture ends with this incredible prophetic vision from the narrator, Sanjaya. He says, wherever there is Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, and wherever there is Arjuna, the wielder of the bow, there surely will be prosperity, victory, opulence, and unwavering righteousness. And that's the ultimate recipe for success, isn't it? When you have the union of the divine and the dedicated human spirit, true victory, in every sense of the word, is guaranteed.
And so, after all 18 chapters of this incredible dialogue, we turn the final question back to you. Because this isn't just an ancient text to be admired, it's a manual for living. So, what is the one action, just one, that you will now do differently? What's the one thing you'll change?